to do kind of well on them to have a better than average shot at getting into PT school. Now, do you have to have the perfect GPA? No, of course not. Can you make some mistakes along the way? Yes, of course. But hey, if this is an important part of your pre-PT journey, let's talk about some ways to help you out in that area. So I'm going to be going over 7 ways that I used to increase my GPA and keep it at a certain level in PT school and as a pre-PT. So, yeah, it's one shot, now the future is yours. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the night with the... Yo, happy Sunday, Dr. Pre-PTs. Welcome to a Mic Drop Mentorship where, hey, we're just coming on here to help you guys out, drop some gems, help you get on your way to getting accepted into physical therapy school. So if you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back here at Pre-PT Grind. Basically, we try and help you get into PT school without wasting a bunch of time or money, without having a lot of stress, a lot of extra anxiety, because you got enough going on in your life. Why add any more to it than needs to be there, really? So that's what we're really about. That's what we really do here at Pre-PT Grind. And on today's episode, live stream video, I'm going to be talking about some study tips, some study strategies that I used as a pre-PT and that I used in physical therapy school, because of course we know there's this thing called a GPA. There's this stuff called prerequisites. These classes we have to take, and some of you heard you have to do kind of well on them to have a better than average shot at getting into PT school. Now, do you have to have the perfect GPA? No, of course not. Can you make some mistakes along the way? Yes, of course. But hey, if this is an important part of your pre-PT journey, let's talk about some ways to help you out in that area. So I'm going to be going over 7 ways that I used to increase my GPA and keep it at a certain level in PT school and as a pre-PT. So if y'all ready, take out your notes or just listen, rewatch this later, and we're going to go through this. So I hope you guys enjoy. So study strategies that I use. Number one, I pre-read the lecture material. Easy. Pre-read the lecture material. These tips aren't anything crazy. They're not anything super fancy. They're just super simple things that I've used to help me out. I know some other people might have used some different things here and there. So if you know some and I didn't say them, drop them in the comments below so we can all learn from them, so we can all use them to, increase our GPA. We would love to hear more study strategies. So my number 1 was to pre-read the lectures. Easy. Just get your mind frame around what's about to be taught the next day or the next lecture, whenever you're reading this, just to get kind of an overview and prime your mind to be able to accept that information. Easy. Just like if you're going to the gym, do a little warm up, hop on the bench press and pump it out real quick. Seth, what's going on? Catherine, what's going on? Welcome. If you guys are here, drop a comment below so I can see you guys. If you're watching this or listening to this somewhere else, I'm on Facebook right now. So hey, in the future, if you want to join, hop on Facebook. So number 1 is just pre-read. It's basically a warm up. Just warm up, get that blood flowing. Just like if you're at the gym, do a few reps with the bar, do a few squats without the bar, just to get that stuff flowing. So that's number 1. That's it. Number 1, pre-read the lecture material. That's what I did. Easy. What's going on, Jacqueline, Seth? Let's go. Exactly. Next, after the lecture, I studied within 24 hours. That's it. Within 24 hours. And I know, Rachel, what's going on? Thanks for joining. And I know some of you might be like, I don't know, within 24 hours? I don't know. Hey, I'm just telling you what I did. Do you have to follow? No. Do you have to take my suggestions? No. But you're probably watching or listening to this because you want to get into PT school. So if you say you want to get in like you say you do, I suggest finding some time within the 24 hours, hey, to go over that lecture material. And it doesn't have to be 4 hours you're studying this stuff. Go over this stuff. 10 minutes if that's all you got. 15, 20 if that's all you got. Within 24 hours though, let's go over that lecture material so it stays in our mind. So when we go back to take the test or the quiz, it's still fresh in there. So that's my number 2. Study what was just taught. within 24 hours of the class or the virtual class, whichever class you're taking. Next, I studied the teacher. After I got to know them a little bit, I studied the teacher. And if you guys are still on here, and for the new people who are coming in, drop your name below so I know who's here. If somebody wants to drop the numbers that I've been going through, I'll greatly appreciate it so the people on replay and the people coming in on live can follow us along. So number 1 was I pre-read the lecture material. Number 2, I studied within 24 hours. And number 3, now I studied the teacher. After I got to know them a little bit, I studied the teacher. Do they emphasize certain words or different subjects that they're like, hey, this might be on the test? Do they give any big signs like that? I think one of our teachers kind of knocked on the board. They gave a little trick like, hey, this might be on the test. You might want to pay attention. Do they take a lot of their test material from the books? Do they only take it from their PowerPoint lectures? And if they take it from the books, is it mostly the pictures or the graphics in the book? Is that a high point for them? What do they really do? What do they really put on the test after you get to know them a little bit? So that's what I did. I studied the teacher so I can study more efficiently and say, hey, I know this teacher. They don't really care about this, picture on page 3, this little table, or they do really care about it. So I need to highlight that and study it. Kind of study your teacher because they are the ones giving you the test on the material. They're the ones giving you the test on the material. Yes, you're getting tested on the material, but they are the ones choosing what material you're getting tested on. So that's my number 3. Study the teacher. Oh, thanks, Rachel. That's what's up. Appreciate it. Next, number 4. When studying, I use the Pomodoro method. And this is just a fancy word for saying I studied uninterrupted for a random period of time. Let's just say 30 minutes. Then I took a 5 to 10 minute break. Then I went back, studied for a set amount of time, 30 minutes, took a break after that. Uninterrupted is the biggest thing. So I put my phone behind the laptop screen, so I just put it behind there, and I put it on silent, so I didn't see it. Then at the end of 30 minutes, then I can scroll and do whatever I needed to get those phone jitters or whatever out of me so I can go back into the next study round efficiently. And I probably did that for 4 rounds. Or 4 sets of studying. So I was studying for 2 hours. Or if I needed to go more, I maybe switched the subject and went more on another subject. So that was it. I used the Pomodoro method. It's just a fancy word for a set time, uninterrupted, took a break. Set time, uninterrupted, took a break. So that was my number 4. Number 5. Number 5, my study strategies. I front-loaded my studying. Now, this is how I understand front-loading. Other people might have different definitions. That's fine. But I front-loaded it, meaning when going back to, what was this, number 2, studying within 24 hours, meaning I did this. Okay, first lecture. After that lecture, I studied that material, right? And let's just say the test is 2 weeks out. So lecture 1, I studied that material after the lecture. Then lecture 2, after that, I studied lecture 1 and number 2. Right? Y'all following me? Third lecture, let's just say 3 times a week I had this class. After that lecture, within 24 hours, I did lecture 1, 2, and 3, or the material 1, 2, and 3. Y'all with me? Then the next week, then I did lectures 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then so on and so forth. So that when the test came, I studied lecture 1, let's just say 3 times a week. If I had that class 3 times a week, 2 weeks, I studied lecture 1 6 or more times, 6 times minimum. I studied lecture 2, 5 times minimum, so on and so forth. So that when I took the test, this is easy. I could take the day off before the test if I needed to. Because I didn't want to be stressed before the test. That would have made me worse. I know some people like to study under pressure. I know some people do better. Hey, do what you got to do. I get it. But for me, I was like, man, I want to be calm and collected before the test. So let me make sure that I know everything and repeat it as many times as possible before I take that test. So that's my definition of what I called front loading. Because all that information was built up at the front. Then by the time I took the test, lecture 3, I went over 3-4 times minimum. 3-4 times minimum. So that was my number 5. That was my number 5. Y'all with me? Y'all with me? I hope y'all with me. Number 6. This one I'm going to go into a little more depth because there's different examples we can use. Number 6. I use something called active recall techniques. Active recall techniques. So when I went back to study within 24 hours and when I front-loaded my studying, how did I study? And what I used a lot were active recall techniques. And really all that is can you take it from your mind and speak it out into words, or put it on paper, or put it into, or type it into a document without looking back at the material? Can you actively recall it from your memory, from your mind, and spit it out or regurgitate it? That's had some bad connotations to it, but that's really what it is. Because on a test, what are you doing? You're taking it from your mind and putting it on a piece of paper or on a laptop and filling in the blanks or clicking a button. You're actively recalling the information on a test, so why not do that on your studying? To me, it made sense. So I did that. Easy, easy. I took that information from the back of my mind and boom, put it back on. I spit it back out. And how I did this, different strategies I used, was I walked and studied. I had a piece of paper, simple stuff, y'all. Easy, walked and studied, took my little packet out there, took my phone out there, whatever you're using, iPad, whatever. And hey, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go over these lines of sentences or this paragraph. Can I actively recall it without looking as I walk around? Then of course, there's some studies saying, hey, getting some exercise and moving around helps memory. Sure, fine, I guess. I hope it helped. I'm a PT now, so I guess it helped, right? So that was the one simple way I used active recall. Number 2, I tried to teach what I learned. Whether it was to a small group of people, one person, whether it was back to myself in a mirror, or walking around and I was teaching myself again. Hey, maybe for some it was writing blogs. I know for me it was as well. If it was a super interesting topic and I saw that I can write a blog about it, I spit it out. And I tried to do it from memory. That's a form of active recall. Easy, simple. Easy and simple. Another form of active recall I use is to create quizzes, whether it's Quizlet for your class or whether you write on a notepad and put blanks in there where you know you're struggling. Hey, you can put that there. Let's just say it's an anatomy test coming up. You can say the deltoids have blank innervation with blank origin with blank insertion, and that's it. Then you have to fill in those blanks. Something simple. You can get as creative as you want. The main thing we're going for here is taking that information from your mind that you got from class, from lecture, from studying within 24 hours, from pre-reading the lecture material. Can you take that information and be able to spit it back out in any form, right? That's all we're doing. And that was it. That was my number 6. That was my number 6 for active recall, and those are different techniques you can use. A lot of studying, in my opinion, is just different forms of that. So if you're getting creative and you want to throw some more in the comments below, what's up, Joseph? What's up? Throw them below. Let's hear what you guys have been using. And lastly, my number 7. My study strategy, my favorite one so far to tell people, they don't really like to hear it, but it's my favorite one to say because they really need to hear it, is I did not fear frustration. I didn't fear it. Now, I fought against it a lot, I'll tell you that, but I did not fear the frustration I had when studying. Whether it was cardio in PT school, or pediatrics, or stats, or physics as a pre-PT, whatever it was, I did not fear the frustration. I knew it was coming, and I was ready for it. But I did not run from it and say, oh, I can't do it just because something is hard. Just because I didn't get it on the 4th time doesn't mean I'm automatically doomed and I'll never become a PT. Just because I got a C or a D or an F on a quiz or a test or an assignment, yeah, I'm frustrated, it sucks, but I'll be okay. Because I didn't fear it. Just like patients, if you guys have worked in PT settings or PT tech, positions, and you probably overheard some people say, hey, I'm in pain. Of course you're in pain. You just got injured. You just had a surgery. Of course. Prepare for it. Know that it's coming, but don't fear it. Don't fear the pain. Whether you have pain on day 1 or day 7 or month 2, it's there. We know it's going to be there. Let's make sure you have strategies to deal with it and overcome it. Because it's not going to be there forever. or your function isn't going to be down forever, whatever their injury is. Don't fear that. Let's be prepared for it, fight back, get over that frustration, and move on to what we want to do. Same thing with your studying. You know what's coming. You know this is a hard chapter. You know you might have to do a little extra work. That's fine. Throw your book at a wall. You know, go out for a walk, do some push-ups, take a break, come back the next day, whatever it is. But don't fear it. Because that's how many people just start this spiral down to never getting their grades back up, to never getting their GPA up, to never climbing back from a bad assignment or a bad test grade or a bad class, to ultimately get the GPA they need to get into the PT school they want, to become the physical therapist they want. It all starts back there. And it all starts from not fearing the frustration that may happen. Some things may come easy, some things may not. But that's my favorite one. That's my number 7, is to not fear frustration. So, my 7 study strategies that I use as a pre-PT and a PT student. Number 1, I pre-read the lecture material. Number 2, I studied within 24 hours. Number 3, I tried to teach it. I tried to teach it to other people. Number 4, use the Pomodoro method. Number 5, I front-loaded my studying. Number 6, active recall techniques. Oh, I messed up, sorry. Number 3, I studied the teacher. Sorry. Number 3, studied the teacher. 4, Pomodoro technique. 5, front-loaded studying. 6, active recall. And 7, I did not fear frustration. I knew it was coming, so I fought back a little bit. So that was my 7. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned a lot. I hope you guys take what you can use and use it for yourselves. If you guys have other study strategies, comment below. Let us know so we all can use it and learn from it, because GPA isn't everything, but it's important. So it's good to know how to get the best GPA possible. So those were the strategies I used. Hope you guys can use them for yourself. Tag a friend, tell them about Pre-PT Grind, and I hope that helped. We'll see you guys on the next one. And if you guys want to follow me to Instagram, I'm going to be doing this on Instagram and doing a Q&A there. Then I'll be doing TikTok later on after that. So I'll see you guys over there.